How I came into programming. Well, I was about 16 and I was already playing some games on a PC and I was interested in how these things actually work. And I found an installation disk for Turbo Pascal. And then I started playing around with it. This was my first introduction in programming, minor stuff, usually some minor applications, just testing out what is possible in my home PC. And then in university, we went over to C++, Java, Fortran, VHDL, assembly. So I studied as an electrical engineer, but I very soon realized that software and programming languages were sort of not only the future, they helped all the other sciences, so to speak, and I really decided to focus there. So my specialty very early on became computer science and information science. I worked a while in Greece, and then I came to Austria to do my PhD in computer science. And after almost finishing it, I came to Fiskaly and started working there as a backend developer. And there I also encountered other programming languages such as Go, for example, which is our main programming language at the moment. Why did I join Fiskaly as such? It is precisely because it offers a large variety of reasons, of technical offerings, of programming languages, and of I was able to learn things, to put it very simply. University is really fun. You do a lot of research, and I also use, for example, Python, R, a lot of technical solutions for my work there. But it does have the tendency of being a bit abstract and theoretical. And I was really eager to get back into the industry and do something that is more cutting edge, where I could learn things and solve problems and face challenges, something challenging effectively for myself and my skills as a programmer. That is the reason I joined the company where I'm now. So our product is fiscalization. It is providing a fiscalization solution, which is a means for ensuring that receipts are digitally stored and encrypted, and they cannot be altered by anyone in the aftermath. Effectively, it is a means for combating tax fraud, which is a very worthy and noble cause. But the really nice thing, the thing that attracted me most, is that we have a really elegant and nice solution to this problem. A cloud-based solution, even though originally the product that we went into for the German market was not designed for this particular case. It was designed as a local solution. So you have your cash register and then you add on some component, either hardware or software. But as you can imagine, in terms of security and maintenance, this is a bit of a nightmare. So we took that concept and moved it to the cloud and made it a much more elegant solution. But of course, this came with its own set of problems because we have now to maintain this. And while we have a solution that works really well, in actual operation, it is a huge beast that develops its own behavior over time, that has any number of interesting and unanticipated edge cases, and where you constantly are challenged to determine what is going on. If you have a problem, if a customer has done something unexpected with your system, you need to find out what is going on. So you have to play a bit detective. You have to gather experience about all the components of your system. You have to try to think about problems that might occur before they occur and become actual problems. And it is a really interesting topic to actually deal with this, because we have both components that are certified, which means you cannot really touch them until they are recertified. So if you find a problem in them, you have to make a request for a recertification process, then you have to start the recertification process, and then you have to go through the whole steps, which may take a few months before you can actually deploy this. In the meantime, of course, the bug is there and you need to somehow mitigate it, which is where the fun begins. You have to have in all the other components some ways of fixing this without violating the requirements, the quite strict requirements on how this system should operate. So it is always a question of having options on the table and choosing among them, and also choosing options with a view to what will serve us in the long term. So there is a very strong component of architecture, of software architecture there, and we also use quite a lot of different technical solutions. I mean, most of our components are built in Go, but we also use Java, a lot of TypeScript, and of course all the infrastructure and resources of a Google Cloud platform. So it is, I could work there for 3-4 years without ever fully exhausting the full width of options and possibilities, and this is what is fun about it. Tips for beginners, yeah. Well, as you may have noticed from the fact that I mentioned Turbo Pascal, I began quite some time ago. And back then, if you wanted to learn programming, you needed to get books and read them. So I envy the people who are getting into it now, because they have Google, they have Stack Overflow, and they have YouTube. And the problem that they face is actually probably that they don't know where to start, because the options are simply too many. And I would say this is great. I mean, they can try things around. They can find out what they like, which area of software development they want to be active in, whether it is back-end or front-end or game development. And they can simply start doing it. There are really no formal requirements to start developing other than common sense and a willingness to try things out. As I said, I was also in university doing a PhD, so I have some experience of teaching it. There is no substitute for actually hands-on experience. The university, for example, can teach you some theoretical concepts, it can teach you math, it can teach you algorithms, it can give you some idea about the concepts of software architecture. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to sitting down at home at your own PC and trying things out. In the longer term, useful attributes, probably not just for software engineering, but definitely very useful are the willingness to learn, be open about not knowing things and admit it, and collaborate with others. I think that anyone who comes in, no matter from which direction, from which background, can succeed. They can do really great job and they can bring their own unique perspective into it, as long as they have an open mindset. Some of the best people I have worked with came from areas such as Oriental studies. So they were doing Arabic and Sumerian before, and then they said, I would like to try programming. And they were great at it. So it's really something that is open to everyone. Everyone, I think, can find something they like there. And of course, it can be combined with pretty much every other science. So you are interested in geology, you can definitely do things with software in geology, biology, same things, history, you name it. Developing code, writing code, software engineering is not only useful as a career in itself, it is a facilitator for a lot of other things.